Okay. This is the fourth time I'm trying to record this, which is funny considering the topic. I'm trying to get this right, and I think it's worth getting it right. I'm in the middle of my Saturday morning routine, okay? And just as I was thinking and working on whatever I'm doing, this thought popped up that as we get older, there are literally going to be people who are like 18 to 20, if you're 30 or 40, who literally had less life experience than you, are literally less experienced with life, and they literally do not know things that you know. And so and there's a psychological concept, what you see is all there is, which is the first video of my INTPs must watch playlist. And there's a reason that's the first video. It's understanding that it's also confirmation bias. It's understanding that no matter what you do, there's always stuff you don't know that you don't know. And so if you're 20 and you haven't had these knowledge, if you haven't been to school, been in a class, there are advantages also to not knowing things. It means you're not limited by false rules. But you can be nuanced and be good at both, being good at ignoring false rules and also being accurate and knowing stuff. It's just hard. And that's kind of what I want to get at. And the question I'm curious about is, what brought this up is if I go on YouTube and I search some topic, I'll often get some 18-year-old, 20-year-old person talking about it who has 500,000 followers or 1 million followers, and they're spouting misinformation. It's inaccurate, and I know from experience and knowledge and applying stuff that it's not going to work. Now, I'm not saying I'm 100% sure. I can never be 100% sure. Maybe they know something I don't. But as far as I can tell, like, okay, I tried this. I experimented with it. This is inaccurate. This other model is better. It's also not just a matter of inaccuracy. There's a great book called Peak by Anders Ericsson, where the idea is they took a guy into this experiment, and the idea was they repeated a set of numbers to him. Okay, so they were like 1, 7, 6, 9, 5, 3, and so on and so forth. And then he would repeat back 1, 7, 6, 5, 9, 3, and so on and so forth. And so what would happen over time is they were trying to improve his ability to remember. Okay. And what happened was he got stuck at like 12 or 13 digits, I think. And he kind of pushed, he was able to get finally like one more, 14, 15. But he really got stuck. And they were trying to prove that you can actually memorize more numbers than you think, or that your memory is better than you think. But he got really just tired, fed up with it, and he almost wanted to quit. And as he kept trying, there's a car coming around the corner. As he kept trying, it got to the point where he was really frustrated. He pretty much did quit. But then they did call him back a few months later. And when they did call him back, they had an idea. Let's try this, John, whatever his name was. And they ended up changing. They gave him an idea, like try memorizing like this. And he came up with this new method of thinking about it, a memory palace of sorts, where he encoded numbers in his head. And through this new method, he was able to memorize, I don't know what the number was, maybe 150 numbers in a row, just straight off. Like I showed you, 1, 7, 6, 5, 9, 3. And it's crazy. But my point here is that just his raw ability wasn't enough. He needed a method that he could encode his raw ability into that would make him extremely, really, really able to max out his true potential. And so part of the reason I'm annoyed by these YouTubers, okay, not just anyone who has a lot of influence who spouts misinformation. In the old days, this was celebrities. You had lots of people who wrote in tabloids and got articles and had interviews, and people were like, wow, they must be so smart, right? The halo effect. When in reality, there are much better ways to think of things. So even if you have this raw like IQ of 160, you can max out the ability of your knowledge and IQ if you know how to think about it the correct way. Kind of like the memory palace, as opposed to just trying to hold all the numbers in your mind as a string, you can be much more efficient with how you approach things. And so my mind goes all over the place with this, obviously, if you can't tell. But my question is, Is the world more confused today than it used to be? I can't tell. I mean, what should we do? How can we get information out to people in the most accurate way that actually helps them, that's not confusing, that doesn't hurt society? I mean, they don't know any better, and they're just doing what they do. I mean, what you see is all there is, right? But I'm just constantly debating, like, what should we do? Is the solution to become an influencer is actually accurate? Is there like what is there a way to start a social change to improve the way social media is designed to minimize this? I mean, I want everyone to have a voice. I just want to make sure that we understand the implications. This isn't a new idea. I mean, people have been talking about this for a while. Oftentimes, tenured professors are like, I'm so smart. Don't let the little voices out, or just people in politics. So there are arguments for both sides. And I think, like I said at the beginning, we can get both sides to work together so that you can get the best of both worlds. It's just, how do we do that? So I have a question for you. Do you think the world is more confused now than it was before, 10 years ago, 100 years ago? And either way, what do you think we can do to communicate more effectively to help people get the right information in their heads so they make good decisions that improve their lives, as opposed to having misunderstandings that hurt them in the long run, cause regrets, cause them to do things that, or even just things that are less efficient, like the numbers example? Hmm.